Story time about how my boyfriend got myself and another girl pregnant at the same time. So a little background information, I was 18 and a senior in high school whenever this all happened. And I've been dating my boyfriend, who we're going to call Ivan, since I was 15 years old. And he was truly my first love, and everything was going great until our senior year. Ivan started acting super weird out of nowhere, ignoring my calls and going out way more than usual without me. And then one day, another girl answers his phone whenever I called. And when I confronted him about it, he said that it was his sister playing a prank. And I ignored these red flags, of course, because what are we? Colorblind. Anyway, soon after this, I realized that I'm pregnant, and Ivan was thrilled about this. Well, fast forward a little bit after I find out that I'm pregnant, he casually admits to me one day that he did it on purpose because he was afraid that I would leave him whenever I went off to college. Fast forward, things got worse when I found out that he had got another girl pregnant, but she was 7 months along. Not only that, but his mom thought that we had been broken up. So I end things with him. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my boyfriend got myself and another girl pregnant at the same time. So like I said, he admitted that he got me pregnant so that way I wouldn't leave him whenever I went to college. So I broke up with him, and while I'm dealing with my pregnancy, I lost one of my closest friends, and then I lost my baby 6.5 months in. But despite all of this, I finished high school and got into college and started volunteering at a hospital. And y'all will not believe that the one day, I run into Ivan at the hospital that his girlfriend is giving labor in. And he has the nerve to sit there and apologize and say that he wanted our family back. And that's whenever I told him, sir, our baby's gone. So then later he called me and he asked if I was pregnant again. But I just blocked him and his whole family after they kept trying to guilt trip me into getting back with him, even though he literally had a baby with another girl. Fast forward, over a decade later, I've graduated, I have a great job, a house, and I'm engaged to the love of my life, and we're planning to start a family, and I've healed through a lot of therapy. Ivan's married and has kids, but he's still living this drama-filled life.
Most memorable pranks. Oh my god. I ended up getting kicked out over this prank. My mom was dating this guy. I really did not like him, like at all. I remember I had posted pictures on Facebook of me burning pictures of him like in front of our house. Crazy. I was so crazy when I was 16. But anyway, I was 17 and I was rather rebellious. I really did not like my mom's boyfriend at all at the time. And to be honest, like, yes, for good reason, but I didn't have to do what I did, but I did it anyway. So moving along, I had 2 little brothers that stayed in the house with me, and one of them was like 7, Marquise, for those that know. And I was like, Marquise, I need you to go wipe your butt on the inside of his brand new white tee in the room on the ironing board. And Marquise was just like, yeah, okay. He was just like down to do whatever. And he went in there and he did it. He opened it up, the shirt, and went on the inside and literally wiped his butt with it. And he's 7, you know, so his butt's never clean. It's always got something back there, some kind of residue. It was disgusting. It was gross. It was filthy. And her boyfriend had the nerve to whatever, Shamar. He asked you to bring him a beer. It's not that big of a deal. I hated him though, so it was like, ugh, the nerve. But he asked me to bring him a beer because he was grilling. And I was like, fine, I'll bring you a beer. I said, Reese, which was my other little brother, and he was like maybe 11 or 12 or something. I said, Reese, this is kind of crazy, but I want you to wipe your butt on his beer before I bring it to him. So when he drinks the beer, it's gonna be a butter beer. It's gonna be your butt on his lips. Pause. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I ended up getting kicked out for this because Marquise ended up snitching. My mom just knew something was up, so she interrogated him and had to see what was going on. He gave in because he's 7, and yeah, I got kicked out after that prank. It's crazy. Dare I say it was worth it, like a little bit, because I really didn't like him. RIP, he's gone now. But he was cool. He wasn't that bad. I just didn't like him.
Get ready with me while I talk about a situationship breakup. We're gonna call him Joe. Okay, so this all started when Joe messaged me on Snapchat. After he had messaged me, we started talking for about a month. He lives in another state, but he has family where I'm from. He had told me that he was gonna come down to visit his family, so a month later is when we finally met in person. He was here for about 2 weeks, and every day of those 2 weeks, we would hang out until like 6 a.m. the next day. We would just be up talking. Then he ended up going back to where he's from, and from there, we would FaceTime every day, talk 24/7, all day, all night. We would even fall asleep on FaceTime. It was like that for about a year, and it was just a cycle. We would talk every day, all day, 24/7, and then whenever he would come down, we would see each other. So then, kind of towards the end, I started noticing that he was talking to me a lot less. We went from talking 24/7 to like one text a day. So then eventually I ended up ghosting him just because we were talking so little that I felt like there was just no point. After I ghosted him, it was just left at that. I will tell you guys what happened next in part 2. Get ready with me while I talk about a situationship breakup. Okay, after I had ghosted Joe, he had called me 2 months later to wish me a happy birthday. And then 5 months later, he had called me again out of nowhere just to see how I was doing and catch up. So we had talked for a year, and then after I ghosted him, it was a whole year that we didn't talk. Aside those 2 times that he called me. So then exactly a year later, he calls me for the 3rd time just to catch up and see how I'm doing. And he also tells me that he's coming down here to visit, and he said that he wanted to see me. So I was just like, yeah, just let me know when you're here and we'll see. So the day that he got here, he had texted me and he asked if we could see each other, and I said yes. Again, he was here for 2 weeks, and every day of those 2 weeks, I was staying over at his house with him. So then after those 2 weeks had come to an end, he had gone back to where he lives, and again, we started FaceTiming every single day, 24/7, literally all day. Then one day he had asked me for my location, and I didn't care about sending my location as long as he also sent his, so that's what we did. We both sent our locations to each other. Then another day we were on FaceTime, and he was getting in the car with his uncle, and his uncle was like, "You're talking to your ex again?" And I could tell he got nervous and tried playing it off, but I was just like, no, so I ended up just hanging up the phone. The very first time we started talking, we were on FaceTime, and his aunt was like, "Oh, who is that? Is that Marlene?" She called me Marlene. So when his uncle had said that, I was like, okay, there's no way this is happening again. After that, he had tried to convince me so bad that his uncle makes jokes and that he's just that type of person, which I could see, but my gut was telling me, like, no. I don't know why, but I kind of just brushed it off. And then, I'm not even kidding, like once a week, he would tell me, "Oh, I'm coming next week." He would always tell me, "I'm coming next week," and he would never come down here. And then the last time he told me that he was coming, he's like, "I'm not kidding this time, I bought a ticket." And I was like, okay, show me the ticket, because I didn't believe him, because he would always say he was going to come and wouldn't. The fact that he would always lie about coming down here would bug me, because it made me think, like, is this guy just saying that to keep me around, So then we ended up getting into like a little argument about it, and I ended up unsending my location, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore. Because he didn't need to tell me that he was going to come down here. He could have just stayed quiet, it's the fact that he kept lying about it. So then he unsends his location, and we're just going back and forth, and then I don't hear from him for 2 days. He reaches out to me 2 days later, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I left my phone in the boom truck." Basically, he said he knew his phone was in the boom truck, that he just didn't want to go get it. I just did not believe that someone left their phone for 2 days somewhere, knew where it was, and just didn't want to go get it. That just does not make sense to me. Call me crazy, but that does not add up to me. So then I ended up ghosting him again. Can you guys let me know what you guys think? Do you think he's telling the truth and that I'm crazy, or do you think there's more to it? If so, what do you think? I'm just curious what you guys think about all this.